Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town with me, Lynn About Town, and my special guest today is Jessy Leros. Hello, Jessy.
How are you doing, Lynn?
So good to have you.
Good to be here. I know we've been looking forward to doing this, so I'm glad we're here.
Excellent. Well, we have a real treat for you. By the way, everyone, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Prospero año.
Feliz Navidad y próspero año nuevo.
There you go. It sounds much better when you say it, so very well done. So we are here with our Talk of the Town New Year's Eve special, and we're thanking that you turned in and you're listening to us, and hopefully we make whatever drive time you have. Everyone's pretty much either rushing out of work or they're totally off today, but thank you for tuning in. And our show is sponsored by Consumer Energy Solutions in Clearwater, Florida. And we have a lot of big things on the horizon, everybody. This new year will kick off a lot more content, more podcasts, more all kinds of interesting things, legacy things for children and business details, things that you can learn about business. So we're going to have a lot of great stuff coming forward. And I'm honored to have Jessy Leros here in studio because this way we can talk about the world of music. My guests are always so humble, so I have to always just be the one that says, send me your bio, and I'm more than happy to read you some from Jessy's bio, because he's, like I told you, he's wonderful, he's talented, but he's a little humble. So I'll be your cheerleader.
All right.
All right. So Jessy is a Venezuelan American singer-songwriter, classical guitarist, and composer. Jessy started his musical training at the age of 8 in South American World Instruments. He later traveled in classical guitar at the Conservatory of Music Jose Luis Paz in his hometown of Maracaibo, Venezuela. If I'm not pronouncing it right, forgive me.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Jessy had the privilege to be mentored by the prestigious world-renowned master guitarists and composers Hilario Diaz, Rahui Kobayashi, David Russell, Rodrigo Riera, and among others. After his studies, he made his way by combining classical and world music elements with pop, rock, and jazz. Jessy was introduced to flamenco by former Juilliard guitar master Victor Moreno and later performed under the direction and tutelage of Anne Ranking, Julie Andrews, and Gregory Hines at Broadway Theater Project. I have heard many amazing people have come out of Broadway Theater Project, so very well done. Wow, what an experience. Yeah. We can talk about that a little bit, but wow. So he received a standing ovation, earning him a scholarship to study voice performance under Seth Riggs in Los Angeles. Well done.
Yeah, that was great.
So some of Jessy's public appearances include his feature performance on the ABC talk show The Morning Blend, and a guest performance for the world opening of the Dali Museum exhibit, The Invention of Food, by Ferran Adria. His original score for the original play On the Bench debuted successfully at the Straz in Tampa, establishing him as a composer in the music scene. Wow. Now, the biggest thing we are going to talk about today is Jessy's launching his new musical work style, which is called Acoustic World Pop. And here on this beautiful New Year's Eve, this is the time for you to be talking to this amazing guy, Jessy Leros. Well done, Jessy. So, Acoustic World Pop. Mm-hmm. This is not a terminology people have. Did you invent those?
Yes. I put that together. It's a combination of 3 elements. Obviously, world music is a big deal in my life. And I never thought that world music was world music until I got to America. And people started realizing that the music that I play was traditional music. I was like, it's not traditional. Wait, it is traditional. And then I realized, oh wow, I have this incredible library of music sounds that are actually traditional in nature. Folk music from different parts of the world. And so to me, folk music is such a fundamental aspect of every culture. It's an identity factor, you know. And Quincy Jones used to say that if you want to be a good artist, embrace your roots, you know. And I think it's so true. Like some of the best musicians out there, Ray Charles, Miles Davis, all these guys, like they sort of embraced their fundamental music, and then they became successful and branched out from there. But they embraced the roots. So to me, world music is it's that it's embracing the rooted elements of who we are, wherever we come from. And I think that when you are speaking to somebody from a perspective of the nature of where they come from, there you're gonna get a really true self.
You are, and also, the sounds of different places. Island music, for instance. If you don't come from an island or you don't have island roots, when you hear this, it's almost foreign. And for me, quite frankly, country music was not a big thing for me in New Jersey growing up. In fact, and then I even come from a time when I embraced and loved the disco scene. I loved the music. I loved the tunes. I loved getting out and getting dressed up and going out and learning actually skills on the dance floor. And I noticed that the guys coming to that scene were also very particular in the way they presented themselves, and I don't know, the manners were different. And so, but then I had people going like, disco sucks, and I'm like, they would wear shirts that said that, and I'm like, you don't have to feel that way. I like rock. I like, the Eagles. I like certain things, but country was never my thing, So I can only imagine what this world pop will bring with all the different instruments.
Absolutely. And I have been through that journey of, I remember very vividly when I felt the sensation of not being able to fit in because my music was either very classical, because I studied classical music, or very folk music, such folk music that people are like, what are you playing? What is that? It's unrelatable. But that's where I believe the value of pop music. Pop music is popular music, so pop music is what keeps it metro. It's the element that keeps evolving. Usually, folk music is traditional. It's been evolving for years, and it arrives at that. Doesn't change as much. But pop music evolves. It's city music. So to me, the concept of world pop is uniting those two forces. You have your country guy that is rude country individual, and then you mix it with his savviness of the city. His ways around the modern culture. You put those two elements together, it's a very powerful combination.
Yeah, so and very timely.
Very much so.
When I was in Colombia, they have this, like, I'm going to say the name of the music wrong, but it's like that, where he's like hip, he's got the dreads, he even wears a gold crown, and he's like, but he brings the folk music back from the past, the Colombian. So, I was in the old city, and he was getting married that night. And all of a sudden, people were, like, going crazy. And so I had to Google, like, who is this guy? I took pictures of him, but that's what he does. And it's, like, with this rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I couldn't even explain it. But now that I'm talking to you, I think that was what made him popular. And
that is what that is. I mean, people are already doing it naturally, because I think it is our nature. It is in our nature to go back to our roots, whether we like it or not. We're gonna at one point we want to go back home. At one point we're in the city. We're experiencing all this amazing city conglomeration of ideas and cultures and progress, etc. But at one point we want to go like, oh man, I gotta disconnect. I gotta go back to my roots, and that is what that is. So I like the idea that you don't have to disconnect from that in the first place. You can have that. You can be proud of your roots, of what makes you grounded in who you are. And give it a modern twist. Give it a pop twist. You just bring it. Let that help it identify you.
That's beautiful. That's really very well said. Thank you for that sharing that. Now you are also an actor.
Yeah.
Because I've been following you on Facebook for a little while.
All right.
Yeah, and we have behind us. It's not right now, but we're showing some slides of Jessy. So NCIS.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Well, you know what? When I got cast for the NCIS project was because they wanted me to play a Venezuelan undercover double agent.
Wow!
He was basically a spy. And I thought, I was like, I'm very happy. I was very happy to do that because, first of all, I understand my culture. I know where I come from. And I was doing that. I was working with Wilmer Valderrama and Scott Bakula in that particular episode. And it was a special, it's a 2-episode special about this double agent that infiltrates this
wow, you got a double
terrorist.
episode. That's special.
Yeah, that was very good. And it actually, but what I liked the most, what got me excited about this project particularly, was that I got to play a Venezuelan agent who is working against these terrorist organizations. And it's almost symbolic because of what's going on in my country.
Yeah.
You know, this intense political situation that's going on there. And I like the idea of playing this guy that is going out there and he's working against these terrorist groups with American paramilitary or military organizations that NCIS portrays.
Yeah.
You know, and or naval. Yeah. Naval.
Did you like call up anybody that you knew, an uncle or some cool guy that you saw in Venezuela? Were there any characters that you felt like you were kind of portraying?
Believe it or not, as soon as I got the script, I knew exactly what I needed to do.
Really?
I was like, I know what this is. And one of the things
that's
is
probably
that
why they hired you, because you were like that.
I think so. I think that I sent that message across, and it's funny because the actual scene, one of the main top scenes, takes place in the Mardi Gras. So to me, it was like being in Carnival. I was like, oh, this is Carnival. I'm walking through Carnival, and then it's just, okay, I know exactly what to do, and I'm having this conversation. And I can tell that whoever wrote the script was very aware of Wilmer's, at least Wilmer Valderrama's energy. Yeah. Because I was like, this dialogue right here is a very typical dialogue of a person in how we interact, how we just suddenly interact with each other. And the way I responded, I was like, oh my God, I understand this dialogue right here. Yeah. So it was. I knew exactly what to do. I was really happy. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
That's wonderful.
They closed downtown New Orleans to film this entire thing. There was like the entire party district was closed down because there was this chase and whatnot. So.
Wow. Hey, so let us in on this. Is Scott Bakula a nice guy?
He's an excellent man and a great musician.
I want him to be. So I'm really glad to have that validated. Yeah.
Absolutely. What a humble person, considering he's so talented. He's a very good musician.
I mean, he is, no kidding. Yeah. What does he play?
I think he's a pianist, and he loves jazz. And my brother was the one who told me. And I was like, hey man, you should talk to him about music.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I had a
jamming with Scott.
Oh man, that would be so good. I don't think we had time to do that.
No, but I mean, he could be there.
That would be so much fun. Yeah. I would love to do that with that guy.
I forget the name of the show that he made famous as the main guy, but it was unbelievable. He had to do so many. He had to be women. It was like a time travel and
Quantum Leap.
Yeah, Quantum Leap. Thank you.
God.
It was so long ago that I haven't thought of it, but it was incredible. I mean, talk about a challenge as an actor. Yeah. I mean that you suddenly have to be an old lady or a little kid or and then just the visual to pull it off. I mean, it was an amazing show actually.
Yeah, I like that show. Actually, I remember that show when I was a kid. So when I found out that he was the lead of the show, I was like, no freaking way. What am I used to watch this show in Spanish in Venezuela. So like you're over there in Venezuela. I have no idea that one day I'm gonna be an actor. I'm watching Scott Bakula doing his thing on Quantum Leap, and suddenly I'm on set with him. It's like, this is unreal.
Wow, pinch me.
Yeah. It was fun.
That's incredible.
Also with Wilmer Valderrama. He's from Venezuela himself. So that was a lot of fun. We shared a Coca-Cola.
Nice.
We were not drinking on set, so he brought this Coca-Colas and we were just drinking Coke with real sugar, and he was like, this is real sugar, man.
Yeah, no high fructose stuff.
Yeah, this is Mexican Coca-Cola.
No, we have across the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Julie's Mexican restaurant. She's a lovely lady, but they have the Mexican Coke.
Oh, no
way.
And
that's the real thing. I call it the Mexican Coke. I don't know, but it's the real sugar, cane sugar. You look on the bottle, cane sugar, not that other fake stuff.
That's hilarious, Mexican Coke.
Yeah.
Can go so many directions with that.
Oh my gosh. Take it away, Jessy. Tell us what you are working on this year.
Well, I'm really excited because this year I've been working on a project for about 4 years now, actually. And it's been in the development for a while, but it's one of artistic projects are usually, at least for me, because this is such a fundamental project that is going to launch many other projects. It's something that I really took my time with. And this is my original work, completely original work that I'm going to be launching this year. Starting with an album called Son of Liberty Volume 2. And I don't want to tell you the rest because I want that to be a surprise. But yes, I'm really excited about that. And there's going to be a lot of music coming out soon for you guys and for my entire audience. So, yeah.
Now, I have had the pleasure of hearing Jessy play all kinds of music. Most recently, I heard you at the Rock for a Drug-Free World concert, and that was really interesting, that genre.
Yeah, and well, I call it Acoustic World Pop. The thing is that I've always found that here in the United States, we have such a huge conglomeration of sounds and styles, people from all different cultures. So I have this idea of what would happen if we start observing the entirety of it as one sound, with influences of the many cultures, and that's basically, to me, becoming the emerging American culture now, which is all these minorities put together. So I concocted this sound. It's called Acoustic World Pop.
Acoustic World Pop. And what a lot of people listening may very well not know is that you recently became a citizen of the United States.
Oh, yes.
This kind of ties into that.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And that was a wonderful experience for me, especially, like, you're in front of a judge, you're learning a lot about American history, and then you're thinking, why would I want to become a citizen of a different country? But then I fell in love with American culture. It's been my home I've been here longer than I've been in Venezuela. So I decided that I just want to be part of this culture and I want to contribute to it. So a lot of this project that I'm doing is in essence a homage to that.
That's wonderful.
That is.
So now with Acoustic World Pop, am I saying right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
just
totally.
learning it. Acoustic World Pop. So you said you're bringing in different sounds. So, like, describe that a little bit. Like, what sounds from where? Like, what pop in your mind of that?
Well, for example, I have this is going to be on album number 3, but I have a project that basically explores music from different parts of the world in a very trendy, metro, modern way. I wrote songs that talk about downtown Tokyo. I have songs that talk about Spain, songs that talk about New York City, songs that talk about the music from Peru. All of this is around my style of music that I've come up with. But it's got all these influences of different cultures. Whether I add an instrument that is like a charango, which is a traditional instrument from South America, or taiko drums from Japan.
Taiko drums?
Taiko drums, yes. So it all depends on what piece I'm working on. I add a little bit of an element to it that sort of pays a homage to that culture, and I just love that. We're gonna be colonizing Mars soon, so I'm looking forward towards becoming a world citizen, like the planet Earth citizen. That's not too far-fetched for me, So I like the idea that, hey, let's know about each other. Let's go find out who we are in these different cultures, because pretty soon we're gonna be a planetary culture, and that's, I think a lot of people, I don't know if they are
thinking with that.
It's actually happening, it's starting to happen. It's gonna happen soon.
Yeah. Well, travel is so much easier, and now we have social media everywhere.
Yeah.
I communicate with a young girl from she's from Pakistan, and I met her in New York City at a UN function, and she told me, she goes, well, I don't have Facebook, but I can communicate with you on WhatsApp. And it just dawned on me. I'm like, I didn't even think with that. Doesn't everyone have Facebook? Doesn't everyone have full rights? And now we see, you mentioned Venezuela. I can't help but my heart goes out for the big changes that the people are going through there. But because of the ability to communicate, I think we are finding things out in real time.
True.
And I think that brings that world together.
Absolutely. I have a friend of mine that I'm very happy. He was in Venezuela. He was able to get out, at least for the meantime, until we can all go back home and visit. But he's in Qatar, and we literally talked through WhatsApp.
And he's in Qatar.
And he's in Qatar. He's over there.
Yeah.
And so that it feels a little bit unreal, because it's so far away yet so close. And I like that. I like that that's happening.
All right, well, I'm going to let Jessy introduce this beautiful song to you.
So the song is called Manhã do Carnival. It's actually a song from Brazil. Manhã do Carnival means mornings of Carnival, and it's based on basically what happens the morning after Carnival. You know, how do you set yourself up for next year again? Manhã do Carnival, this is an arrangement of mine, and it's made in the Acoustic World Pop style. So hope you like it.
It's blue, yeah, this morning it's blue. The sun, if I call it, may come. It will stop at my voice, and in the eternal now, I wonder will there ever be another blue? Will there ever be another day? The sun will awaken again, and it will be so good if I dare to say, Manhã do Carnival. Be another day. The sun will awaken again, oh no, and it will be so cold if I dare to say, Manhã do Carnival. And it will be so cold if I dare to say, Manhã do Carnival. Cantar al corazón la razón de vivir, cantar sin hablar, sin sentir. Cantar al corazón la razón de vivir, cantar sin hablar, sin sentir.
Wow, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I was like actually like really moving it over here.
Yeah, it's
So
got a lot of rhythm.
what? So you're so talented. I mean, there you are. You're just like ripping it on the guitar. Your vocals are amazing. You have this beautiful vibrato, and such a nice tone. I don't have the vocabulary for the music world, but I mean, it's just such pleasant, calming, but yet exciting voice. I mean, really, I'm so impressed.
Thank you so much. I love music in general. I never started out thinking I'm gonna be a singer. I started out thinking, how can I put these sounds together? You know, whether it was with vocals, sometimes it's instrumental, whether it was orchestration of any type, it's just sounds, putting sounds together. That's how I see it. You have all these vibes, and then you put it together, and they all come in different forms or feels, like they say exciting, and does it move you, you know? So to me, music in general is kind of fascinating, because and you can never get bored with it, because there's so much more out there that I'll die and I'll have to be reborn again to explore this again. So yeah.
So who is on this lovely track with you?
Oh, that is Sebastian Johnson, and Sebastian is the lead guitarist in my team. We've been working together for about 4 years now. He's an excellent guitarist that's very professional, and I love developing relationships with musicians. I am the kind of guy that I like. It's not just about playing your stuff, but getting to work with an artist so much that they literally read your mind.
Yeah, yeah.
So they can read you, they can be there with you, they can flow with you, and that makes for an incredible show every time it happens. And so I try to nurture relationships with professional artists and keep working together. And I've been working with him for some time now. So
wonderful, wonderful. Well, I think people should hear yet another beautiful performance that Jessy recorded just today. You're hearing it first. This was a live performance. We only did a teeny little bit of prep work, but we just went for it. And like he said, when you develop a relationship like that and you're all inspired to bring your all, and you're professionals, it really shows through.
I really want to say something a little bit about this recording, because two things. One, the song that you're gonna hear is from Mexico. It's called Paloma. It's a beautiful piece. It's been featured in a lot of films, and but Paloma, it's also a song that I used to showcase how I work with my team. I wanted to give people a little bit of behind the scenes of how we put this together. So I literally on purpose did not rehearse this song, because I wanted people to go and say like, oh, so how do you put things together? So I told them, okay, guys, we're gonna work on this song. So I kind of wanted to show you guys how that happened. So there it is. I let the music explain the rest.
Wow, beautiful. Well, here it is, Paloma.
So I guess wanted to introduce you to our creative process. These awesome colleagues of mine are Sebastian and Melissa, and they have been helping me for a couple of years now to put this project together. So I wanted to give you an idea of what our creative process is like to help me create my album. And we're going to work on this song called Paloma. Now this is, we're working from scratch, so it'll give you an idea of how we go about it. So guys, I think we're going to work this song in G. It's going to be in G, and very much andante adagio pace, very soft pace. And it's just the basic triads of the G chord. Let's go for that and see how that comes out. Dicen que por las noches nomás le iban puro llorar. Dicen que no comía, nomás le iban puro tomar. Juran que el mismo cielo se estremecía al oír su llanto. Como sufría por ella, que hasta en su muerte la fue llamando. Ay, 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 ay. Cantaba. Ay, 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 ay. En mi alma. Que una paloma triste muy de mañana le iba a cantar a la casita sola con sus puertitas de par en par. juran que esa paloma no es otra cosa más que su alma. Que todavía la espera a que regrese la desdichada. Cucurrucucu. Paloma. Cucurrucucu. No llores, las piedras jamás paloma, que van a saber de amores. So where you guys go through your own solo. Paloma, cucurrucucu, no llores, las piedras aman. Paloma, que van a saber de amores.
So this beautiful song, Manya, also has other names, and I understand that it was also made famous in America by Frank Sinatra.
Correct.
Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, that's a big song here. It's basically a main song in the Green Book. If you mean, it's like the Green Book of songs of American classic covers.
Mm-hmm.
And but I always wanted to bring Maña de Carnival back to its original meaning. So I wrote the lyrics in English very closely connected to what it actually meant in Portuguese and Spanish.
Oh.
So because Maña de Carnival is basically this nostalgic observation of what happens the morning after Carnival. Carnival is such a big festivity in Brazil, Venezuela, and a lot of South American countries.
I don't think everyone actually knows what Carnival is. I mean, is it a religious holiday? Is it?
It's kind of like Mardi Gras.
But okay.
It's basically the South American Mardi Gras.
Okay, that's good to know.
Carnival is a ginormous party. I believe that the reason for Carnival was that it was kind of like a purge,
Mm-hmm.
where people could just allow themselves to just go crazy and party and drink and just have a good time, so that they could just and celebrate each other and culture and whatnot. So it is Carnival in South America is a huge party, sometimes lasting weeks and a full week. I know that in my country it's like a couple of days at least.
Yeah.
So Maña de Carnival.
Well, if you're going to do all that setup and all those outfits and all that, you got to have it be a couple of days.
Absolutely. And it's a lot of fun. I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun. I have experienced a lot of carnivals myself growing up in Venezuela, a lot. And one of the things that I remember about Carnival is that the mornings of Carnival, you are hanging out with your friends, it's 6 a.m. in the morning, you've been partying all night, and you're hanging out at the beach.
Or for 3 days.
Yeah, exactly, And then you're just hanging out with your friends, and many things happen. Sometimes you meet a beautiful girl, and you have this incredible connection, with whether it is with friends, whether it is with a lady or significant other, and it just there's a magic that happens because everybody lets loose, and everybody's just showing their face as it is, and it's like I'm here to have fun. I'm not here to be that posh.
Ah.
So morning on Carnival comes, and he says, will there ever be another day the sun will awaken again? And it will be so. If you're there to say Maña de Carnival, if your song is true. you know, if with this experience will happen again, if your song, if your sound, if your soul is true.
Oh, okay. So you're saying like let loose, be yourself.
Yeah.
And so this moment is where people are just really showing.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
it.
So those are the. I mean, and on all cultures, we have those times in which that we speak about when we were old. Remember that time when we were hanging out and that girl came around and and it was so much fun, and we danced and we did this and we did that, and then we kissed, etc. And then those are the kind of stories that happen in Carnival.
The magical ones.
The magical ones. Those are the things that you remember for
And they
good.
weren't planned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is what Mañana de Carnival is about. It's like, you know, like that nostalgic moment when the mornings of Carnival come about.
Yeah. Well, I never celebrated a carnival, and I never actually went to New Orleans to do Mardi Gras. I will tell you that there was a commercial on TV years ago. It was for a ginger ale, and it had a girl, not the guy, the girl, and she was like walking, and she just thought, I'm gonna do it, and she went up to this stranger, a guy, in a park or something, and she tapped him on the shoulder and she gave him a kiss. It wasn't a mushy kiss, but it was like she just. So one day I was on vacation, sort of my carnival, and I was down with girlfriends at the Jersey Shore, and they were daring me to do that, what the girl did on the commercial. I said, I'll do it. They go, no, you won't. And so I thought it was going to be easy, but it wasn't. And finally I saw, you know, okay, I'm gonna do it to this guy. And so sure enough, I walked up to him, I tapped him on the shoulder, he turned, I was red as can be, I kissed him on the cheek, and then I ran, and he goes, where are you going?
Come back.
But yeah, that was probably the absolute, bravest kind of impromptu thing. So this was my Manya.
That was your Manya. That's your story right there.
That's my story.
That's what you talk about.
I don't think any of my 4 children, possibly my husband, have heard that story, but it did happen.
Wow.
I was 18 and I did it.
I love. You see, those are beautiful moments. I mean, we all gotta get back to living our everyday lives. You know, some people go to work 9 to 5, but those are the things you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna go back to work, but I had that experience magical, so I go back to the real world. And then once in a while, we look back to that magic and come back to the world. So that was awesome.
That's wonderful. Well, now that when we hear your song, we have so much more added to that. So tell me about Son of Liberty.
Son of Liberty is the name of my very next project, my next album that I'm going to be working on. And basically, Son of Liberty, this entire thing started when I was a kid. I've always had this fascination with freedom. Very much so. But to me, freedom didn't mean I'm going to be free, don't talk to me, whatever. Freedom to me is more about the freedom to really be yourself and to think for yourself. And
an individual.
Yes, very much so. Like how having a voice that is your own and speaking it, and not have the fear to speak your voice. You know, and that is a big deal to me because I grew up in a culture that little by little started suppressing that. You know, there's a lot of influence of communist influence and on and off, the dictatorships, all this stuff that's been going on. So when I came to the United States, I became particularly in love with the idea that here people are really free. I mean, people speak their minds and they're sometimes even crass about it. They're like, wow. But what that really means to me is that they're free. They really feel that they have the freedom to speak themselves. They don't have to follow a specific point.
You're seeing the freedom.
Yeah, I see it.
It's not just a word.
Exactly, and that is literally the essence of why I decided to support this culture as far as becoming an American citizen. So when I was receiving my citizenship, the judge said, "Son, do us a favor and share with us everything you've got. Share with us who you are. Share it with us. Help us and make us better." And I was like, I almost cried.
Sure, it sounds like it's exactly your definition of freedom, and he's telling you, you're here, this is what we want you to bring.
Yes.
Yourself.
Yes. And there is a very deep level of sensitivity that I have because we have some of the best music schools in the world. The guitar school in Venezuela is incredible. It's really good. It's like a Shaolin temple of guitar. And so when I come here, I was like, I have so much that I want to contribute. So Son of Liberty is a homage to that. I really wanted to express the freedom to be yourself, the freedom of consciousness, you know, the freedom to think and to be, you know, to have your own space, to know that it's not you have the right to, for it not to be invaded,
Right.
to have your own ideas,
Right.
and I think that I was fascinated. I'm still fascinated by that, and I wanted to make it a thing. I think that that evolves into a sense of patriotism, if you may.
Sure.
But I believe that those concepts, I want to recoup that. I want to recuperate that. I want to make that trendy again. You know, like let's. You remember what if the feeling of being of that. What life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness means is like you start with life, and what does life mean? The essence and awareness of being alive gives you immediately the desire to move, which is your liberty. Am I free to move? Am I free to speak? You are aware that you're alive. I'm aware that I'm here. I'm aware of myself. I'm aware that I'm aware. You know, you're like, oh my God, I'm alive. I'm here. Life. And then how do I exercise that life? Liberty. Do I have the freedom
To move
about and say what I want?
Change my plan or create a plan or.
And then the pursuit of happiness. When I think it's in that sequence. Life, I pursue my liberty, and what do I want to do with that liberty? I want to follow my bliss, the pursuit of my happiness. And usually, I find that the pursuit of happiness is directly related to how can I serve.
Yeah, and some people have different ways they do that journey. We see it, and that is the individuality, right?
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
I know some people will go on a sabbatical and go, you know what? I made enough money. I'm actually selling everything, and I'm going to travel around and see how I can do good wherever I go. I've met people like that.
Wow.
That is a pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
And then there's others who go, okay, I'm really going to buckle down, and I'm going to build a business, and I'm going to find a good wife, and I'm going to have children. But right? And so if you didn't have the life, know you're alive, know that you have that drive to exist and communicate, and then the freedom and ability to move about, the liberty. I think that was beautifully said. So I mean, I am born and raised here, and I have not thought of those beautiful rights I have. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, I had to explore a lot of that when I was becoming an American citizen. I was like, you know what, I mean, I read Declaration of Independence. I studied a lot about the founding fathers, how America came to be and whatnot, and I think it was beautiful. But to me, so much more international than that. I think this is the call of man, you know, like to be free. We want to be free. So Son of Liberty is to me that cry of what that is, and that I have 2 entire album projects that I have dedicated to that, and I want to do it in an entertaining, fun way, so that it's gonna get that idea across.
Wow, and plus the Acoustic World Pop. So how do people follow you, Jessy? So we have JessyLeros.com. Jessy, that's JessysYleros.com. That is his website. You can sign up for updates, etc. Any events he's doing locally and or abroad, any new projects he's on. You know, these things will be said on the website. Instagram, #JessyLeros, JessysLeros, and Facebook is Jessy Leros Music, MUSIC. So those are the 3 ways. You've got so much going on. And I tell you, for someone who became an American citizen a year ago, that was the most beautiful explanation of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness I have ever heard. So thank you very much for that.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Well, we have had a beautiful time today. I want you to be the one with the last word here in wishing everyone a Happy New Year.
Well, guys, everybody, I thank you so much for having me here in this culture in America. I'm one of you guys. I'm here to stay. I'm here to contribute. I am very much looking forward to having a communication with you in this coming year. So Happy New Year. May this year bring a lot of prosperity, a lot of love, a lot of abundance in your lives. And let's keep in touch. Let's connect. Let's keep talking. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Jessy.
Hi, everyone. This is Pat Clouden, CEO of Consumer Energy Solutions, the proud sponsor of the Talk of the Town show. It's been great being able to feature so many local people and promote interesting events on the show. We're only just beginning, and we look forward to many engaging and interesting projects filled with exciting and relevant content in the coming year. Be sure to follow us on all our social media formats and much more. To be continued. 2020 is going to be a banner year for all of us, and we wish you all a happy, healthy, and prosperous new year.